Hey guys, messing around with the ISO controls on the backhoe today. So backhoes, excavators, equipment come with two types of controls, either ISO or SAE. A lot of people refer to them as John Deere controls or CAT controls, but a lot of backhoes come with ISO controls. I can run both. I'm definitely a lot better and more proficient on SAE controls or CAT controls. So I pulled some stuff apart here, trying to see what I can do to switch this over to SAE controls. Now, on mini excavators, larger excavators, even some backhoes, things like that, there's a simple valve that you just switch to go from one set of controls to the other. This obviously, my Kioti backhoe doesn't have that, so there's just one valve block. We're gonna look at that now. All right, so these are the sticks here. So you got the sticks and then the outrigger sticks here. So I pulled the back panel. Say hi, Emmett. Hi. I pulled the back panel off here just to see what we got. Now, it is pretty difficult to trace these hoses out because they go out, down, and then everything is concealed in the boom. Now, the main difference between ISO controls and SAE controls, the bucket curl and the boom swing are the same for both. The dipper stick in and out function and the boom up and down function are what's different. So, say hi, bud. You getting on? So, I ended up just switching the hoses. Now, the boom function has a float feature. So, the boom will basically float if you're doing some fine grading, and I'm gonna lose that function by doing just the hoses. So this hose, or the from left to right, basically, you have, the first, the second, these are the two outrigger valves, and then you have these two here. So I found that the dipper stick and booms were basically these two here. So it's 2 and 6 over from the edges. And then I basically labeled them and then switched everything over. So I took these two hoses, kept them top and bottom. I put them on this location. I took these two hoses and put them on this location. Labeled them all so that if I ever wanted to put it back, I could. I tested it out, and it's basically exactly like what I'm used to on the CAT control side or the SAE control side. So now that I verified that those are the actual hoses that will switch everything back over, I'm probably going to end up taking this manifold apart. These are basically just bolted together with long threaded rods here, right? So you've got basically these giant bolts. There's 3 of them that bolt the whole manifold together, and then you have O-rings between them to keep them from leaking. So I'm probably going to grab these hoses, pull them, switch them back over again, take these 2 valve blocks, switch them so that I can maintain the float feature on the boom. But if you guys are looking to do this, I think this works with a lot of other kubotas, John Deere backhoes, things like that. You can do that. Now, one thing you have to look at is this manifold block is relieved here as a whole. You got to be careful. Sometimes each valve needs specific pressure reliefs to work well, but I was able to do this. I tested it out, and it works just like it did before. When you're doing that, just look at your valve blocks and just pay attention there. All right, guys, so that's it. So I did that. Again, when I get some more time over the winter, probably I'll pull the valve manifold block apart there and switch the actual valves over. But for now, I got some projects to do with this thing, so I'll definitely be a lot quicker on that. Quick update, I did get the painted up pads put on, and then I went through and greased this thing for the first time since I've gotten it, and everything surprisingly took grease, which usually when you buy used equipment, there's usually a bunch of grease fittings or Zerk fittings that don't take grease. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that everything took grease. One of the outriggers, one of the Zerk fittings is actually broken, which is pretty common. They usually break because they're exposed when they're down and the rock will fall on them or something like that. So I'm gonna clean that fitting out, replace that Zerk, go through the whole thing again, get some more grease on it, and put all these cover panels back on, and she'll be back to work.